Arjun sat on the front steps of his home, his chin resting on his knees, eyes heavy with shame. He was just 16, but that day, he felt like a failure. His school report card was clutched in his hand, the red marks circled like wounds on a battlefield. His friends had all passed with ease, but Arjun had stumbled. Again. He hadn't told anyone yet, not his mother, not his teacher, but someone had noticed. From behind, a soft voice broke the silence. Arjun Beta, why are your shoulders drooping like a sad sunflower? It was his grandfather. Dadaji, a 70-year-old man with a kind face, silver hair, and eyes that had seen storms and sunshine alike. He wasn't angry. He wasn't even surprised. He just sat down beside Arjun. Arjun blinked away his tears and looked away. I failed, Dadaji. Again. I'm just not like the others. No matter how hard I try, I'm never enough. Dadaji didn't speak. Instead, he gently took the report card from Arjun's hands, folded it, and placed it in his pocket. Come, he said, standing up. Let me show you something. They walked together through the backyard, a quiet garden behind their home. Birds chirped softly in the trees. A gentle wind rustled the leaves above. Arjun followed slowly, still heavy with disappointment. They reached a spot where two very different plants stood side by side. On the left, a massive banyan tree, towering with thick branches and giant roots that spread across the ground like muscles. On the right, a cluster of bamboo stalks, tall but thin, swaying gently in the breeze. Dadaji pointed to both. Tell me, Arjun, which one looks stronger? Arjun didn't hesitate. The banyan, obviously, it's huge. The bamboo is just thin and weak. Dadaji chuckled softly. Yes, that's what most people say. He looked at Arjun and asked, do you know what happened during the last storm? Arjun shook his head. Dadaji pointed to a broken limb of the banyan. When the wind came fast and wild, the banyan stood firm. It refused to bend. It fought the wind, and the wind won. A massive branch cracked and fell. Then he walked over to the bamboo. But the bamboo bent low, almost touching the ground. It danced with the wind, and when the storm passed, it stood tall again. Not a single stalk broke. Arjun looked at the bamboo swaying gently in the wind. Dadaji smiled warmly. My dear boy, sometimes true strength isn't about standing tall. It's about knowing when to bend, to adapt, to survive. He placed a hand on Arjun's shoulder and continued. You think you failed, but failure is not a full stop. It's just a comma, a pause, a breath before the next line begins. Everyone gets hit by storms in life. Bad marks, rejections, heartbreaks, fear. But it's not about how loud you roar. It's about how softly you rise. Arjun remained quiet, his eyes now fixed on the bamboo. But Dadaji, I feel so small, so behind. Everyone's ahead of me. Dadaji looked at him with love in his eyes. Let me tell you one more secret. He bent down, picked up a small clump of bamboo roots and said, do you know how long it takes for bamboo to grow? Arjun shook his head. 5 years. Arjun's eyebrows raised. Yes, Dadaji nodded. For 5 years, nothing happens. You water it, care for it, feed the soil, but there's no sign of growth. People think it's dead, useless. But under the ground, the roots are growing, spreading deep, building a strong foundation. And then, in the 6th year, he raised a finger in the air. It shoots up 80 feet high in just 6 weeks. Arjun's eyes widened in wonder. That, Dadaji said softly, is how some lives work. You may feel like nothing is happening, but inside you, your strength is building. Your roots are forming. When your time comes, you will rise so fast the world won't believe it. The evening sun dipped lower, painting the sky in warm orange. Arjun stood quietly. The anger in his chest had softened, the weight on his shoulders lighter now. Dadaji turned to him and smiled. Beta, don't rush your growth. The banyan may look strong, but it's the bamboo that survives the storm. Be like the bamboo. Arjun finally smiled. For the first time that day, he didn't need the world to understand his journey. He just needed to trust it. 1 year later, Arjun stood on stage holding a certificate in his hand, not just for passing, but for topping his class in science. The same teachers who once doubted him now smiled with pride. His mother cried happy tears, and Dadaji, he just folded his hands and whispered with a smile, "The bamboo has risen." In life, we will all face storms, failure, rejection, delays. But remember, the banyan tree stands proud and breaks. The bamboo bends and survives. Don't be afraid to fall. Don't fear slow growth. Your roots are growing, and one day you will rise higher than you ever imagined. Be flexible, be patient, be like the bamboo.